Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the Haydn Symphony Crusade. And we're up to number 70. And number 70, I gotta just tell you, this is one of the great Haydn symphonies, and the most compact. It lasts barely 16, 17 minutes. I mean, even if you were to do all the repeats, it's 16, 17 minutes. It's one of the most compact symphonies he ever wrote, but so concentrated and so full of incident and so unlike anything anybody else did. I mean, it's one of the most remarkable pieces of the entire 19th century. And I'm going to tell you how and why. It is so cool. It's just amazing. Now, the first thing to know is that the symphony is in D. Usually we say a symphony is in D major or D minor. Well, this is in both. It has two movements in minor keys, the third and the second and the fourth, pardon me, and two in major keys, the first and the third, although the end ultimately is in the major. But it's just D-ish. So that's one thing to know. The other thing to know is that the symphony is about the contrast between homophony and polyphony, homophony and polyphony, that is counterpoint and not counterpoint. That's really what's going on in this symphony, but it does it in such an enjoyable way, and it's built with such unbelievable skill and brilliance. I only need 4 musical examples to take you through this symphony, but they're long ones because the argument is so compressed and so eventful and so tightly woven, it's very difficult to cut into it anywhere. It really is. I mean, you just have to listen to the whole thing. And it doesn't take much time to do it. I mean, the first movement, which you're going to hear all of, without the exposition repeat, is only about 2 minutes. I mean, that's it. I mean, but what a 2 minutes. I mean, I can talk about it all I want. It's much easier to just play it and let it happen. But let me point out a couple things first. The opening movement is in monothematic sonata form. Some of you have just asked what monothematic sonata form is, and it's a misunderstood thing. It sounds like monothematic, one theme, right? Well, that's not what monothematic sonata form means. What it means is that the music is front-loaded. In other words, the entire movement is developed from the opening ideas. There can be a tremendous amount of contrast in the motion music between the two main subjects and the cadence theme, the theme that ends the exposition. You can have other themes, you can. But the main ideas are derived from the same basic material. And that means that you can compress the symphony very much. You can compress the argument because you don't have to have in the development section so much extended treatment of differing ideas. It's all based on the same stuff. So you can just continue doing things with the same stuff. And, it all takes very little time. Let's put it that way. But it has to be done properly because you don't want to feel shortchanged. And this symphony does not shortchange you. It's just the opposite. Just the opposite. It's really kind of amazing. So the opening theme of the first movement is dum bum da 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 da, like that, and the idea that everything is based on are the opening 2 notes. Dum bum. That's it. That's what the whole symphony's, the whole movement's sort of built out of for the most part. I'm going to play you the first subject and the second subject, just so you can hear how it's monothematic. It's based on the same material. Even though the two subjects don't sound quite the same. The first one is pretty rhythmic and straightforward, and it's in 3/4. So it has a 1 2 3 1 2 3, sort of a waltzy tempo at some point when Haydn isn't being syncopated. But the second subject, that's very syncopated, and it's quite contrapuntal. Because it's dum bum, and then the bottom is dum bum dum bum dum bum 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 bum. It's following each other with those little things, and that makes it sound very, very rhythmically tricky and fun. I mean, it's fun. It's funny. It's fun. It's witty, and and just it's just always, the symphony always has a smile, even when it's in a minor key. It's really kind of remarkable. Anyway, let's listen just to these. The first subject, and I put in a little pause, and then the second subject, so you can get the basic thematic material. And then I'm just going to run the whole movement without the exposition repeat for its whopping 2 and a bit minutes of length, 2.5 minutes, I think. And you'll just hear how intense the music is. There's not a single note out of place. It's so ferociously logical and compact. So anyway, here is the first subject and second subject, one after the other. You see, it's all just bump, 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 bump. Yes. That's the whole deal. Now, when you listen to the whole movement, I want you to pay attention to the beginnings of counterpoint, this eruption of counterpoint that's going to happen in this symphony. And, people think counterpoint is very academic and ferocious and learned and abstruse and kind of emotionally cool. And this is none of those things, but it is brilliantly contrapuntal in an academic sense. I mean, it's the work of a contrapuntal genius. I mean, it really wasn't until the finale of Mozart's Jupiter Symphony that a classical composer was able to do anything on Haydn's level. And you could argue that, nobody did anything on Haydn's level when it came to his ability to combine themes and voices and whatnot. So listen to those 2 little notes, how the music tends to break up into top voice and bottom voice, the bass following the treble. Bump, 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 bump. It does that. It does that in the development section. It does it all over the place. And that's very, very important, because that is going to be one of the guiding principles of the whole work. So here, with the Austro-Hungarian Haydn Orchestra under Adam Fischer, courtesy of Nimbus Records, is the entire first movement sans repeat. And it's okay. You won't miss the repeat. It's really, really nifty. Here we go. of musical devilishness, isn't it? I mean, it's just so rambunctious, and at the same time, so closely woven. You get a sense when you're hearing it, also because this symphony has trumpets and drums, which is sort of a big deal. You've got horns, trumpets, drums. It's got a flute. It's a big orchestra for Haydn at the time, and so it has impact. It has strength and rhythm. It's a coiled, tensile strength. It's really, really striking. So that's the first movement. Now the second movement. Oh, the second movement has this. It's marked. Oh, let's see. Specie d'un canone in contrapunto doppio andante. So that means a type of a canon in double counterpoint, which is the same thing as invertible counterpoint. They're similar terms. And what that means, quite simply, is that, first of all, it's a canon, like row your boat. One voice comes in, then the other comes in staggered a little bit, not only a little bit in this particular case, but they follow each other. That's the first thing. And the fact that it's in double counterpoint or invertible counterpoint means that you can flip them. And the bottom can become the top, and the top can become the bottom, and without violating any of the rules of correct harmony and counterpoint and harmonization. And those rules are very technical. We don't need to go into them, and they don't make any difference. What matters is that it sounds fabulous, and that what Haydn is doing is of some brilliance in terms of its fabrication. So this is a theme in variations. The theme in variations in A, B, A, let's see, A, B, A, B, A. That's what it does. A, B, A, B, A. The A sections are in the minor key, and they're in double counterpoint. The B sections are in the major key, D major, and they are not in invertible counterpoint. They are melody with normal harmony. You don't have the simultaneous combination of melodies. So here we have the contrast between polyphony and homophony, which just means a melody with a basic accompaniment. It's that contrast that Haydn is toying with throughout this symphony. So the other thing to keep in mind when you listen to this is that because it's a theme in variations, the theme has an AABB form. That is, each half is repeated of the theme. And so the way Haydn does it is that when each half of the theme repeats, it flips. That's when the invertible counterpoint happens on the repetition. And the scoring changes too. He uses particularly the flute, to highlight the bottom melody, which has now become the top melody. And that allows you to hear the fact that the melodies are flipped over. You don't have to worry about hearing this like conscious top and bottom, like one's like way down there and one's way up there. It doesn't work that way. They're actually rather close together in terms of pitch. So you're not going to be so conscious of like something radical going on. You'll hear the original theme. You're just going to hear a change of emphasis. It's like looking at the same things only from a different angle. You go across the street and you look at it, and then you go that way and you look at it. That's what it sort of does. It's hard to describe, but very easy to hear. So I'm just going to play you the theme, the whole theme, AABB, with the counterpoint flipping on the repeats. That is the repeat of A and then the repeat of B after each little section. And you'll get it right away. And then you can just go and listen to the rest of the movement yourself, which is extraordinarily brilliant and wonderfully affecting, because the minor key parts are kind of spooky and solemn, and the major keys are they're warm and singing, and that movement. This movement's about 7 minutes long in this performance, 7.5 minutes, which is about how long it takes. It's the longest movement in the symphony, and by a long shot. It's like double the length of everything else, but it has so much contrast. It has so much emotional depth to it, it's really an extraordinary thing. So here you go, the species of a canon and double counterpoint. Whoa, baby, the theme. Okay, wonderfully creepy little thing, isn't it? So you can go listen to the rest of the movement by yourself, and you know exactly what to listen for. And let me tell you, you can listen to it 150 times. You hear something different every time. It is such a remarkable movement. It's so full of music, of things to listen to. So Haydn has now given us this sort of contrapuntal extravaganza, but he's contrasted it to music of a normal character, a non-contrapuntal character. The minuet is completely not contrapuntal. I mean, we talk about the difference between chord guys and line guys, chord people being interested in vertical harmony and line guys interested in counterpoint and simultaneous combinations of melodies. Well, this is a chord movement, and we need it because the first movement had a lot of contrapuntal interest. The second movement is all about contrapuntal interest. And this minuet is a complete and total contrast. And I don't have to play you any of it because you can just go listen to it. The only things I would point out that I think you should pay attention to are the fact, first of all, that the trio section, the middle section, is a line bit in a chordal movement, but it's not contrapuntal. It's like Gregorian chant. It's monody. It's a unison melody, basically, that has no end. It doesn't have a normal cadence. It's an open-ended bit of melody that sort of drifts through this minuet, and it sounds so very strange. It really did. It really does. It's again, it's like from outer space, but it's a joke. I mean, Haydn is having a little bit of a joke by saying, okay, you don't want counterpoint? We're not going to have counterpoint. We're going to have one single unison line. And that's the trio section. Then the minuet returns, and actually Haydn writes a coda to this minuet. There's an ending. Usually when you have a minuet in the classical period, it's just, the minuet, and then there's a middle section, and then the minuet comes back without the repeats, exactly as you heard it before. And the ending that you heard originally is the ending that you hear at the end. Well, here, no. Here, Haydn extends the ending to make it even more emphatic and final. And it has wonderful, the main theme of the minuet has wonderful echo effects. Bum, 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 ba, ba, da, dum, bum, ba, da, dum. Then the horns and the trumpets go do, 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 like that. Anyway, it's lovely, and you can enjoy it on your own because we don't need to discuss it more than that. The finale, oh gosh. This is the thing. This is the movement. This is just the bomb. It says something so important about music, about Haydn's view of music, and about what music can be. And it does it in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, or just a bit under, a bit under 3 minutes here. Yeah, 2 minutes and 50 seconds, something like that. The finale, how do you describe it? It's really impossible. There's nothing like it. It has no repeats. It plays straight from the beginning. I've said before that for Haydn, a musical idea didn't have to be a tune. And here it isn't. It's not a tune. It's a thing. It's 5 repeated notes. That's basically the idea. And the entire essence of this movement is Haydn saying, watch me create something extraordinary out of nothing. That's what he does. That's why this is such a miracle. The theme of this movement is da 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 da. That's the main theme. It appears initially as a question and answer. Da 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 da. Do do do. Da 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 da. Do do do. That's all it is. You couldn't get more nothing than that, basically. But then what happens is that Haydn turns that da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-dum. Turns out, if you take 4 of those notes and add it to the da-da-dum, just the ya-dum, you get da-da-da-da-da-dum, like that. Now that thing, which he turns by combining a little bit of those 2 little fragmentlets at the very opening, becomes the subject of a triple fugue in invertible counterpoint, or a fugue on three subjects, he says, he calls it. A fugue on three subjects, that is, it has three melodies and ideas, the most significant of which is the da 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 da. It's that one. And then there are two others that are all combined with it, and they can all invert and change and twist around. And he creates this enormous, rich tapestry of contrapuntal, extravagant fireworks that goes on for most of the body of the movement. I mean, it's a minute or so of that, because everything here, remember, is very, very compressed, but it seems to be immense in the context in which Haydn presents it, because it has all kinds of sections and parts, and the parts keep changing, and it's thrilling. It's unbelievably thrilling. And it's all the more astonishing because it comes from nothing. It is the Big Bang in musical action. Out of this nothingness came this universe that Haydn creates. And as quickly as it showed up, it disappears. It just vanishes. Poof, it goes. Now, those two things, the da 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 da, boo doo doo, the nothingness bit and the fugue bit, da 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 da, those are actually, if you want to be technical about it, the two subjects of a sonata form movement. The first subject is just the nothingness. The second subject is this enormous fugue thing. And then we have a recapitulation. The fugue just goes poof and vanishes. And we're back to da 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 da, do do do. However, Haydn contrives that even the nothingness has a certain activity to it. The orchestra gives it a good shake, bop, 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 and it turns into the major key. So that when the fugue bit comes back, which it does very, very briefly, it's now in the major key, D major. It's quite happy, and it seems to affirm what the nothingness did. And since it affirms it doesn't have to last long at all. It just gives a quick, final contrapuntal ascent to what's been going on. And then the movement ends. Da, 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 da. Bum, 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 bum. With a loud laugh. And it's funny and witty and brilliant all at once. It's humor at the highest level of musical intelligence, but you don't need to be a music geek to get it. I mean, I played this movement for all kinds of friends of mine regularly. I really do, because I mean, when I listen to it and I think, what am I going to say about it? How are people going to approach it? And everyone just loves it because they get it. They get the point. It's so clear what Haydn's doing. He's saying, I'm going to show you what I can do. Make something out of absolutely nothing. So here is the entire movement. Remember, it has no repeats. This is just the whole thing all the way through. And give it a listen. It's going to blow your mind. Amazing, dazzling, incredible, isn't it? So much fun, so much joy, so much humor, so much passion, so much intensity. It's such a tiny, tiny space. And the other thing that I just want to point out is that this movement is also, obviously, the culmination of everything that's been going on in the symphony. The contrast between counterpoint and not counterpoint, and homophony, if you want to call it that. Remember the trio of the scherzo, which I didn't play, but you can go here. It's just a simple unison melody with nothing going on. And that, even that gets stripped down more in the finale to just a couple of repeated notes. So what's happening is that this movement affirms by exaggerating this contrast that Haydn's been toying with to one degree or another in every single movement. And then when you get to the finale, the contrast is as the two ideas, the two concepts or aesthetic principles are as far apart as they can possibly be. But Haydn presents them in a way that brings them together and lets us have one really jolly last laugh. And that is why, my friends, this symphony is such an unbelievable work of genius. It's really, really, really special. And like I said, it's only like 16, 17 minutes long. So you can go listen to it, 200 or 300 times in the next few days. And it will never get stale. This music is perpetually fresh and inexhaustibly brilliant. And it leaves me speechless. I mean, I've talked for 22 minutes and 46 seconds right now, and I am speechless. So I hope you enjoyed the music more than you enjoyed listening to me. And next, we're in the 70s. We're really getting somewhere, folks. We really are. It's exciting, isn't it? So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Listen to this symphony. Tell your friends. I mean, it's a big deal. It really is. Take care.